I'm like, you guys lied to me so much to the point where I don't even care about the money necessarily. I just want my stuff. And at that point, I just felt so helpless and demoralized. And the reality starting to creep in that all my stuff will probably be stolen. All my computers, all my drones, all my gadgets, all my expensive electronics will get stolen. And there's nothing I could do about it. Look, out of the 8 billion people that's on the planet, I'm probably the hardest person to scam. But these bastards finally got me.
Warning: Dave's content is not for the weak. Viewer discretion is advised.
Now, before I begin this video, let me add some context into why it's hard to scam me. Because until recently, I was undefeated for 25 years. So basically, I'm the type of person that never used debit card. I always use credit because it's easier to get my money back if something happened to go wrong. I strictly only use Apple Pay because honestly, all I gotta do is just tap and then the transaction will go through. Even if I'm going through a drive-through, I'll reach my hand out the window, tap, and go about my day. If I'm doing a transaction online, I would do research on the company that I'm purchasing from and make my payment through PayPal. So that's basically a brief summary of the extent I go to not get scammed. So without further ado, this is a story of how I got scammed for like $3,000. So if you guys been watching me for a long time, you know that I used to live in Wisconsin. And honestly, I enjoyed my time in Wisconsin. So around December of last year, I noticed that my lease was coming to an end, which would be February 29th. Remember that date, because it's important. So I told myself, okay, my lease is coming up. I'm not going to stay in Wisconsin for one more year. It's probably best that I move to a state that aligns with my career goals. If you guys don't know, I'm really into film. I like to write and direct my own films. So Atlanta, Georgia made sense. Okay, boom, Atlanta is what we're doing. Let's do it. So I started looking for moving companies to carry my stuff from Wisconsin to Atlanta, Georgia. So when I started going down the list and calling moving companies, almost all of them were booked. They were saying, yeah, well, we can't get you in until April because we're all booked out. That was pretty much the same answer I got from all the moving companies after like the first 12 phone calls. But on the 13th phone call I made, I found a company that was available. And that company name was Captain Van Line Moving. The lady I spoke to, her name was Nancy. Mind you, this is my first time moving long distance where I had to use a moving company. So I didn't really know the knowledge I have now. But anyway, so I'm talking to Nancy. I told her, hey, my lease ends on February 29th. And my new lease for my new apartment in Atlanta, Georgia, it starts on March 1st. Would you guys be able to deliver my stuff on March 1st? Because that's when I'll be arriving in Atlanta. So I would like to coordinate my stuff arriving the same time I am. She said, perfect, that's not a problem. We'll come 2 days earlier, pack everything up, and then we'll meet you in Atlanta. I said, great. She said, okay, well, we're gonna need a deposit. The total price of the move, because I remember we list out the stuff I have. I didn't have too much stuff. In total, I probably had like 14 or 15 boxes, my bike, my desk, and my bed and my TV. I didn't have too much compared to the average move. But anyway, she says, okay, the total price is $1,850. You pay half now. And when the movers drop your stuff off in Atlanta, you pay the other half. I'm like, great. So I paid her like $957 or whatever half amount of $1,850 is. I booked my date. She sent me a receipt on an email. I was ready to go. And I remember me being so excited at the fact that I was leaving Wisconsin. I was starting a new chapter of my life, and it was an easy process. So February 27th arrived. Like Nancy says, the guys came and was ready to move my stuff. But there was something off about these movers. I remember when they arrived, they didn't look professional. And it was just 2 people. Usually it's 3 or more. And I remember the guy coming off his truck with like a dirty t-shirt, and the guy that was going to help him, he was still sleeping on a passenger seat. Literally nothing professional. And when he finally got out the truck, there was no hi, there was no, hey, my name is so-and-so. We'll be doing your move. There was no representation of the company that they work for. So the guy got out the truck, no greetings, no nothing. He sees me and he started walking towards my apartment. I'm like, all right, okay, these guys are straight to it. I guess we don't need to talk. We go inside my apartment. I already have everything boxed up. I just wanted them to come out and carry it. So him and his buddy, when he finally woke up, they grabbed half of my items and loaded on the truck. And I remember him coming back and says, hey, you have a balance due. I'm like, no, I don't. He was like, yeah, you have a balance due. And he pulled out this paperwork and he says, yeah, you owe us $1,000 for picking this up. I'm like, what are you talking about? I spoke with Nancy. She says my next payment will be when the guy dropped my stuff off in Atlanta. That's my next and final payment. He says, no, you owe us $1,000. And I'm like, you guys have some type of mixed up. Let me call Nancy. So I called Captain Van Line Moving and I said, hey, one of your movers is asking me for $1,000. First of all, that's way over the amount that I agreed to. And second, I wasn't supposed to pay until they deliver my stuff in Atlanta. We're still in Wisconsin. Why are you asking me for a payment? And the lady on the phone, by the way, I wasn't talking to Nancy, but the lady on the phone says, okay, hold on, let me get a manager. I'm like, okay, great. I waited on hold for like 30 minutes. No one ever got back to me. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hang up and I'm gonna call back. So I called them back and I spoke with that same person. I said, hey, your guy is trying to charge me $1,000 to move my stuff. I have a receipt of what I agreed to. Why are you asking me for more money? And she says, hey, I'm a representative. I can't really help your situation because I wasn't the person that helped you booked. You would either have to speak with the manager or the person that you booked with. And right now, we don't have any managers available. I said, okay, let me talk to Nancy, the person I was talking to. And she says, no, Nancy is out for the rest of the day. So now I'm pissed because I've realized this is a setup. I'm being set up because the first thing the delivery guy did was put half my stuff in his truck. That way, I'll be more imposed to paying that $1,000 since half of my stuff is already in his truck. I am livid. I'm pacing back and forth. I'm fucking fuming. To be honest with you, I really wanted to knock both of them out. But that's the old me. I've worked really hard to manage my anger issues. So I'm pacing back and forth while the guy watches me. I'm like, okay, my lease ends in 2 days. I don't have time to go out and try to recruit another movers. And there is no chance that they're going to have an available date in 2 days. It wouldn't make sense. And also, I already paid Nancy my initial deposit out of that original $1,850 that she promised me. So I eventually calmed down and I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is a misunderstanding. Maybe this is all a misunderstanding and I'm blowing this out of proportion. So I turned around and asked one of the moving guys, I said, hey, are you able to call one of your boss since I'm pretty sure you probably have a direct contact so we can figure the situation out? And this guy looks at me and says, oh no, me and Nancy have 2 completely different bosses. Sir, we're 2 different companies. I'm like, 2 different companies? What do you mean? He says, yeah, the people you spoke to were brokers. We're the actual moving companies. I'm like, wait a minute, time out. Captain Van Line can't be a broker because when I looked on their website, they market it as a moving company. They even have the label on their truck that says Captain Van Line. So I'm expecting Captain Van Line to deliver my stuff in Atlanta. And he said, no, they're just a broker we work with. I'm like, huh? Nancy never told me she's a broker or the company that she worked with is a broker. She never mentioned that because I know not to work with brokers. When you work with a broker, they'll charge you more so they can make their percentage. You're still gonna be paying that moving company price. They're just gonna add their percentage onto it. So I had a little understanding how brokers work. I'm like, what is going on right now? You guys lied to me. And he said, sir, we didn't lie to you. We're just a whole different company. At this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? Whatever. Here's your $1,000. You already got half my stuff in your truck. I can't really call any other movers. I'm really out of options. So I paid him the $1,000. Now the next day, I tried calling Captain Van Lines again to hopefully trying to get the situation figured out. But it'll be the same process. I call, I ask for a manager, I ask for Nancy. None of them are available. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, call back at 2 o'clock. That's when they'll be available. I would call at 2 o'clock and they'll be like, oh, they're at lunch. I'll call at 3 and say, oh, they went out for the day. I could never get a hold of Nancy or any type of manager. Now, fast forward to March 1st. That's when I arrived in Atlanta, went to the leasing office, signed whatever paper I had to sign so I can go inside my apartment. I got inside my apartment, I sat down, and I'm waiting for the truck to deliver my stuff. 2 p.m. passed by, 3 p.m. passed by. I didn't get no call, no text from any moving company. 4:30 hits. I'm like, okay, something's off. So I called them. I said, hey, you guys were supposed to deliver my stuff on March 1st. What is going on? They said, yeah, we know. Let us contact the driver and then we'll get back to you. I'm like, okay. 6 o'clock hit. No one called. I'm like, all right, let me call them again. So I called them. I'm like, hey, what's going on? My stuff was supposed to arrive today. I told you I needed my stuff to arrive today. I have a lot of computers and gadgets and cameras. I have a lot of expensive stuff in there that I need. And I also have my bed in there. If you don't bring my stuff, I would have to sleep on the floor. I don't want to sleep on the floor. She says, okay, let me connect you to a manager. So I'm on hold waiting for the manager. And the manager finally comes on and says, hi, Dave. I'm not sure if you're aware, but your stuff not gonna arrive until 9 or 10 business days. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I told you I wanted my stuff to arrive on March 1st. What are you telling me right now? She said, yeah, well, they should have told you. The standard time is always 9 to 10 business days. I said, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna call my bank and I'm gonna get all my money back. She says, okay, you could call the bank, but we're not gonna give you your stuff. And I'm like, fuck. These people really thought this whole thing through. They thought this whole thing through, and there's nothing I could do about it. So I still called my bank. I called them. I said, hey, I'm about to dispute a transaction. It's on this day. It's on this date. But I can't really dispute it now because this company is holding my stuff hostage. And the manager said, okay, well, we'll note it down and call us when you retrieve your stuff so we can dispute the transactions. I'm like, okay. 5 days pass. 6 days pass, 7 days pass, 8 days pass, 9 days pass, 10 days pass, 11 days pass, 12 days pass, 13 days pass, 14 days pass, 15 days pass. I'm like, what the hell? So I called them again. I'm like, hey, you guys told me 9 to 10 business days. It's been 15 days. What's going on? And the lady I spoke with says, yeah, well, we're still waiting on the driver to arrive and deliver your stuff. Right now, your stuff is inside the storage waiting to be picked up. I'm like, you guys lied to me so much to the point where I don't even care about the money necessarily. I just want my stuff. And at that point, I just felt so helpless and demoralized. And the reality starting to creep in that all my stuff will probably be stolen. All my computers, all my drones, all my gadgets, all my expensive electronics will get stolen. And there's nothing I could do about it. So while I'm still waiting for my stuff, I think on the 18th day or 17th day, I started doing a little bit of research about this company. Like I did a little bit of research before, but I didn't really dive in and find out what this company is, who they are, and why they're ripping me off. So I went on Better Business Bureau. I think that's what the website is called. It's when you find out reviews about businesses that's not tampered with. So I went on the website Better Business Bureaus and I went to go look at Captain Van Line reviews. And turns out there were other people that was having the same issue that I am. They said they agreed on an initial price, but when the mover arrived, they tried to charge them more. So this is not something out of the ordinary. That's their trick. That's the game. They get to your house, pack half the shit in their truck, and they ask you for more money. And if you don't pay it, you already got your deposit. So you might as well pay it so you can get your stuff delivered. It's a scam. That's the scam they're running. But if you look on their website, it's thousands of positive reviews and knickknacks and how good they are and how proficient and how honesty. It's like bullshit. Even on Reddit, there's people complaining about how they lie to the customers, how they hold your stuff hostage so you can pay them more. So once I find that out, I'm like, oh my God, how can this happen to me? I'm the most precautious person you ever met. So I just took that moment to reflect. I'm like, okay, it's definitely a scam. And I was a victim of it. So on the 19th day, I got a call. And they told me, hey, your stuff will arrive tomorrow. But when the driver arrives, you will have to pay them $800 so you can get your stuff. At this point, I don't even care. I've been sleeping on a hard floor for 20 days. I only had like 3 pair of clothes. And it's the clothes that I brought with me from Wisconsin. I'm spending money eating out. I'm doing laundry every day because I didn't have that much clothes. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just happy to get my stuff. So the 20th arrived and the guy pulls his truck in my apartment complex and he pulls out a piece of paper and he was like, sign here, it's going to be 8 something, whatever. And I just paid it. But I recorded this part. I asked them, I said, you guys were supposed to deliver my stuff on the 1st. Why is it being delivered on the 20th? I lost so much money during that period of time. Thousands, probably like even 10 grand because of the clients I edit for and my work not being on time. I lost thousands of dollars. So I asked him, why did you guys deliver my stuff so late? He said, well, we're not really in control. I'm just an employee. I don't really have a say in this. I'm like, how do you guys get away with lying? Because you told me on the 1st, my stuff would arrive on the 1st. It's the 20th. He said, yeah, well, a lot of the times the brokers will lie so you can book with them. And after you book with them, they leave the problems to Best Price Moving, which is the company I work for.
But it's not illegal. Like, you can't promise me something And I'm going off that promise because of what you said. And then when I get to you guys, it's something different. Isn't that illegal? Isn't that lying?
That's lying for the broker. That's
the brokers can lie.
The brokers, they'll lie to you. I'm gonna explain to you how it is. I'll be straight up honest with you.
I got you.
The broker's gonna promise you, lie to you, everything they can just to get the job. And then the whole issue after comes to the company, because they're the ones who have to deal with you face to face. Because I'm coming here for the company. I'm not coming here based off for the broker.
Right.
So I don't work for the broker. I work for Best Price.
I said, okay, so if you as an employee knows that the brokers that you work with lies, why do you continue to work with them? You're an accomplice. He said, well, I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I don't know what to tell you. So they move in all my stuff. And like 2 days later, I find out that I'm missing my $200 dome light and other accessories that was probably equivalent to $1,500. So in total with this move, I probably lost like 12 grand. So I called my bank and disputed all the transactions. Look, these two companies, Best Price Moving and Captain Van Line, do not book with these people. You will get scammed and you will lose more money that you originally planned to. I wish that I was rich so I can do more, maybe sue them, but I'm not. So I just gotta deal with it. So to prevent yourself from losing a whole bunch of money and having your stuff missing, don't book with these people because you will get scammed. Thanks for watching. I'm out. If you like that video, I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. So like, share, and subscribe and get me there. Thank you.